This just in, Kawhi Leonard just tore his ACL after what was thought that it was to be like a knee sprain. Unfortunately, it turned out to be more, per Shams. That is such a tough blow for the Clippers especially, as Kawhi was helping the Clippers turn the series around after being down 0-2 versus the Utah Jazz. It would now take a miracle to beat the #1 seed. Now moving on to the next, it is also being reported that Chris Paul has tested positive with COVID-19. Now we won't know a definitive timeline, but it usually takes about like 2 weeks to recover from COVID. And the good thing is that the Suns have depth and they have great players. And Payne has been fantastic off the bench this season. He's been really great, surprisingly. I really don't like him too much, but he's been really great. But to fill up the responsibilities that Chris Paul does on and off the floor, it's impossible. He has such a great impact on teams that I don't think the Suns can beat the Jazz when they meet in the conference finals without him. Who do you think will win the series though in the Western Conference Finals? Let me know with a comment down below. Now to move on to the last couple of news that I have for you guys, it's also being reported that Stan Van Gundy from the New Orleans Pelicans has been fired after not being able to make the playoffs. The Pelicans have a promising future, but unfortunately he wasn't able to make them a better team. Who would you like to see as the next head coach? Leave a comment down below with that as well. Now moving on to another firing, let's talk about Scott Brooks. After the Wizards had a terrible start to the season, we all remember that, the Wizards were able to change that around with the help of Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook, of course, finishing with a 18-7 record and taking the Sixers to 5 games. Now, I disagree with the firing because the Wizards don't play defense and literally don't have any help besides, not including their 2 stars. And last but not least, the final news I got for you guys is Don Nelson, the Mavericks GM. They have decided to part ways with the franchise. So it has been a day full of news and a day to remember, to say the least. But I just wanted to take time to thank you guys for watching. And if you could drop a like with a subscribe, that would mean a lot to me, honestly. But thank you guys for watching, and peace.